This is going to be a mini seminar about Windows 10. I am going to try to show you how to learn a lot about Windows 10 early on in your use of it. We are going to start that by going to a place where you can get started. And we have to find that on our copy of Windows 10, which is not terribly intuitive. Well, as with many former Windows systems, operating systems, you start by going to Start, which is in the lower left corner of your screen. And when you click on it, you get a window which looks a lot like Windows 8. And in the lower left corner, or almost the lower left corner, you see something that says All Apps. Apps now are applications. This used to be All Programs. And the same thing happens when you click on it, except the display is different. Here we have an alphabetical display with all sorts of things in it, and the one that you want begins with a G. So you come down here to Get Started, and I suggest the first thing you do is right-click on the little box around Get Started, and click and left-click Pin to Start. When you do that, you will now find that your Get Started application or program is pinned to this Start menu. And this is where we're going to start by clicking on it. So here we are at the welcome screen of Get Started. And I would suggest that the first thing you do with that window is maximize it, just the way you did on Windows 7 or Windows 8. So what is on the welcome screen of Get Started? That's a video. This is a video. This is a video, and that's a video. And I suggest that you run each one of these videos as the first thing you do when you're determined to learn Windows 10. After you've done that, I think you have a choice to make. You can go down one box and click All Videos, and you will find lots and lots and lots of videos. Each one of these is on a different subject in Windows 10. What's new in this release? How to get help in Windows 10. Meet Maps. Meet Movies and TVs. Windows Store. There are lots on Cortana. Cortana Help. Cortana Tips. More Cortana tips, and all sorts of other things that are unique to Windows 10. You may want to watch a whole bunch of these before you venture any further, but I didn't. I started wandering around in places like this. What's new? Here is a tutorial, a non-video tutorial, introducing Windows 10. And it shows you what interesting things there are about Windows 10 that are probably very different from what you're used to, including Cortana, including Microsoft Edge, and including a whole bunch of other things that are unique to Windows 10. And right here is where you will probably learn now and many more times that Windows, Microsoft, really wants you to use the stuff that they provide in Windows 10, like Microsoft Edge, which is their new browser. you can download, import, make your primary browser, and use things like Firefox or Chrome. That is what I have done because I really like Firefox. But you're going to get a lot of push to use Microsoft's brand new gee whiz wonderful things like Edge. At any time, you can dive right into Windows 10 and start doing things, maybe installing the programs that you still have on CDs and DVDs, maybe running the programs that are already on your Windows 10 computer. If you upgraded a Windows 10 to a Windows 10 from a Windows 7 or 8 computer, you still have those programs. You probably are curious to see how well they will work. I've been through that process already. But if you want to just learn about Windows 10, you can go further down this Get Started menu, like to Search and Help. These places will tell you how to search. I'm going to cover some of that myself here shortly, so I'll pass on those. There is a section on setting things up, like how to sign in with a Microsoft account, how to set up accounts, how to set up your email, protect your PC. There is a program now called Windows Defender, which is included in a Windows 10 computer. And you probably want to learn about that and how well it will work with or instead of your existing or your previously used virus protection software or malware protection software. You want to learn about how to get connected, how to get online, how to connect to various devices, and you will want to check out Skype, which is provided on my new Windows 10 computer. I kind of think it's on others. You will want to learn all about the Start menu, and as I showed you, you can pin things that are in your All Apps to your Start menu for those you want to use a lot. There's a whole section on Cortana. There's a section on Windows Hello, which is a way to sign onto your computer with just face recognition if you have a camera built into your computer. Here's more information on Microsoft's new browser, Windows Edge. If you're an Xboxer, you will find this interesting. There's information on how to watch movies and play music in your Windows 10. There is a pitch to get started with Office 365. There are all sorts of other things like personalization and settings, saving and synchronizing content so that you can get at things with your tablet or your smartphone that you have on your PC. And, of course, here is where Microsoft would like you to patronize their store. Get Started is a place where you could spend lots of interesting time. Now let's talk about Windows 10 Search. It's different in Windows 10, even though it's in the same place, and it looks like when you start out that it's just about the same as Windows 7, for example, which was what I had. If you go down here in the lower left-hand corner, just to the right of, you don't even have to click the Start menu, just to the right of that Start orb, you can click this box and a Search For box will pop up and you can type things down here. But if I were looking for a document, for example, in my computer titled Facebook, before I did that, before I typed Facebook in here, I would go up here and click Documents, because Windows 10 will not only search documents in your computer, it will search the web, it will search your music, it will search your photos, it will search your apps, and it will even search settings. So, if I were looking for a Facebook document, I would click Documents, and then this box would put Documents : before the search that I'm going to do, which is Facebook. Let's go back here. Where were we? Yeah, you see, here are documents: Facebook.docx, Facebook.text, etc., etc. And also the Facebook.camproj, which is the Camtasia Studios project that I just completed on a Facebook tutorial. So that's my first suggestion about the new search in Windows 10. One other thing that's different, if you noticed, when I went down here and clicked Documents and then typed Facebook, B-O-O-K, notice that all of those documents disappeared. If you are really looking for all the documents in your computer, you need to put Facebook dot asterisk. That way you will see all the Facebook documents with the various types. If I back up now and take out the asterisk and take out the dot, it just picks one for me. It does a best match for documents. And that may not be sufficient for you. If you want to have a menu, remember that asterisk, which is the wildcard sign for things you are searching for. Now let's talk about settings. We're kind of working our way up on this menu. By the way, you can get here by clicking that little set of boxes in the lower left, or by typing, as I am doing now, the Windows key on your keyboard. Same result. The next thing up above here that I'm going to talk about is Settings. When you click Settings, you get really what I think was the control panel in the old days. For example, you have here items like the display, like your power and sleep settings. They are your basic settings for your computer. If you have a notebook, you certainly want to go to power and sleep and decide when you want to turn off your screen after how many minutes of no activity if you're on battery power, and when you're plugged in, when you want to turn off your screen, and when you want your computer to go to sleep. I want mine to go to sleep after 15 minutes if I'm on the battery, but I don't want it to ever go to sleep if I'm on power. So these are the kinds of settings that you will probably want to go to soon. Another one that you will want to look at carefully is, what are your default apps for various things? What is your default app for your web browser? I have set mine to be Firefox. When this computer arrived, it was set to use Microsoft Edge. And if I reset to the Microsoft recommended defaults, I'll bet you this will go back to Edge. Have a look at all of these, decide what you want to use. For example, do you have a Photoshop program that you're going to install on this computer, or is already installed in that computer? If you do, you probably want that program to be your photo viewer. Right now, This is the photo viewer, which is a Microsoft photo viewer. And if I click on a photo in my File Explorer, which used to be called Windows Explorer, it will use this Windows 10 photo viewer to view that photo. You may or may not want that to happen. Settings is pretty important. Storage is another one. You can store things in a lot of places, depending upon what you have hooked up to your computer. You can also store things on the cloud. And this is the place where you will make those decisions as to where you are going to store things. Let's talk about settings as it relates to the Microsoft Store. I just discovered something while I was deciding what I was going to use for the next segment of this. I discovered something that's available on the Microsoft Store that I might want to use. Example, we go to Settings, we go to the System, we go to the question of Default Apps, and now we look at Photos. Well, I have an Adobe Photoshop Elements program that won't install on this new Windows 10 computer. I haven't quite decided why yet, but it won't. So I don't have a photo program that I have picked. I'm just using right now, up until I started this presentation, I'm just using the Microsoft Windows 10 photo display program. But if I click Photos here, it gives me the opportunity to choose an app. And the one that is chosen right this minute is this one. I could choose Microsoft Office 2010. There is a photo viewing program in Microsoft Office 2010, and I have that on this computer. I could choose Paint. But I just discovered that there's something in the Microsoft Store that I might be interested in. Here's the Microsoft Store giving me the results for what programs are available to view JPEG files, which are photos. And one of them is Adobe Photoshop Express, and it's free. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click Free. Well, first I'm going to read the ratings and the reviews. It's got a 3.6 rating. It's got 3,489 5-star reviews, 1,372 4 stars. It has 1,363 1-star reviews, which means somebody didn't like it. But I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to click Free. And it appears to me that this app is installing on my computer. So now, if I go to All Apps and look in the A's for Adobe, I see Adobe Photoshop Express. And if I click on that, a new program will open. And it says select an image source to start editing. So I can go to the pictures library, and it will bring up my photos, and I have it set to come to my Princeville photos of the, let's say, the top 6. Let's look at this one. And I can crop that picture, correct that picture. I think this is this sets the color tones. Looks, I don't know what that means. I could fix it for red eye if it were a picture of a photo person. I can reduce noise. I can auto fix. I don't see where I can resize this particular photo, which I was able to do on my Adobe Photoshop Elements. But this is an example of a program which I just downloaded onto my computer from the Microsoft Store that was free that I might very well be able to use. And now I'm going to show you some things on Windows 10 on the All Apps list. And I'm going to start way down at the bottom. These are things labeled Windows. And I'll start with Windows Accessories. If you click this little drop-down icon, you'll find that under Windows Accessories, there are some familiar things. Internet Explorer is here. Notepad is here. Paint is here. The snipping tool, which I use all the time, is under Windows Accessories. There's a Windows Fax and Scan program. There's Windows Media Player. You can go back to settings, and when you get to default apps, you can pick Windows Media Player to play your videos or your audio recordings, if that's what you want. And there's good old WordPad, your really basic word processor. Below Windows Accessories, there is Windows Administrative Tools. And under there is Computer Management. There's How You Defrag. There's Disk Cleanup. There's Performance Monitor, a way to find out how much of your memory is being used at any particular time. There is a way to get to computer services at Microsoft. There is System Configuration. MS Config is the old thing we used to do. And much more. Down under Windows Ease of Access, you'll find Magnifier. You'll find Narrator, which is a way to have the computer speak text for you, and other systems to help those of you who, like a lot of us, are having certain of your receiving devices not functioning as well as they used to. And down at the very, very bottom, before Xbox, there is Windows System, where you can get back to Control Panel and do all the same things that you can do by going to System on the basic menu. There is File Explorer, which is, of course, the replacement for Windows Explorer. And in any one of these items on the All Apps menu, if you right-click over here to the right of the program or the app, you get an option to pin that to the Start menu, and underneath that where it says More, there's another option to pin it. Right now it's already pinned to my taskbar, so it says unpin from taskbar, but if it were not, you'd have an option to pin it to your taskbar, which I have done. So, all of these items on your All Apps menu are available to you All you need to do is wander around and find them. And I recommend you take quite a bit of time to do that. Now I'm going to show you something that is really not part of Windows 10, but I use it in Windows 10 just the way I used it in Windows 7. I'm calling it a shortcut folder. If you're like me, there are things you do on your computer over and over and over again. And there are things that are stored in your computer which you use over and over and over again. In my case, they are letters or emails or forms that I send to prospective customers for my vacation rental. I pull them up all the time, change the dates, change the name at the top, and send them off. It saves me a lot of time. If you're into a hobby about something, you may have exactly the same sort of thing stored on your folder, stored on your computer about that hobby. So, do you have to remember where each one is and go to that particular place every time you need to do this? Well, if you have things that you use regularly, but you don't use them that often, it's hard to remember where everything is. So I devised a system called shortcuts. And I put a folder called Shortcuts on my desktop. And then I put that Shortcuts folder on my Start menu. Let me demonstrate just how I would do that if I were building a new one. Pick a place in your desktop, anywhere, right-click there, and then go down and click New Folder. And lo and behold, you have a new folder. I'm going to call this new folder How To. And now I'm going to go down, and in my search box, I'm going to search under Documents for things I have on my computer that are labeled How To something. So I'm going to do How To and then type an asterisk there. And now I will see that I have something called How to Capture a Snip. It's a docx file. And if I right-click on that and then click Open the File Location, I will see that How to Capture a Snip is in Documents, Camtasia Studio, etc., 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 right here. And I can easily right-click on that document title and click Copy. Then I can go to the desktop, and in my folder, I can right-click and click Paste. And now if I open this folder, I will be able to open this document. If I go back to my Documents list and do How To again with the asterisk, I will find that I have some other documents in here. Here's one, How to Find Videos on What to Do if I Disappear. This is something I wrote for my kids to help them find things that they might need if I suddenly depart the scene. So once again, I can right-click on that, I can open the file location. It's in a completely different place. I can right-click on that. I can click copy. I can go back to the desktop. I can right-click on my how-to folder, and I can paste that document. So now when I open this folder, I have 2 documents. Well, maybe I will end up with lots of documents. Like in my particular folder, I have, if I double click on that, I have 4 subfolders in this shortcuts folder. One for my vacation rental that has all sorts of documents in there that I use all the time. Here's a telephone numbers list. Here's a checkoff list for when I get a booking. There are 4 other folders. There's lots of stuff in that shortcuts folder. And when you get your how-to or your shortcuts folder built, you can then right-click on it and you can pin it to the Start menu right here. So that now, when I go down to my Start menu, I will find my how-to folder right here and can open it anytime I want. There it is. Here's all my wonderful stuff that I'm going to need every time I want to know how to do something. I hope you enjoy Windows 10. I hope you enjoy learning about it as much as I have enjoyed learning about it so that I could put this mini seminar together for you.